Welcome to PÖFF TV. We are with the Meet the Filmmakers session, and I would like to welcome Ehab Tarabieh. Hi.
Hi.
Uh, so this film is in focus of Israel, the best of festival section. The film is The Taste of the Apple is Red. You had your premiere at the TIFF. Can you tell me, how was your experience at the world premiere?
Yeah, well, it was amazing experience. A lot of audience, and this is an amazing festival with a lot of international people that they are coming there. And I think um, during the Q&A, and it was the most interesting, period there after showing the film, and the questions and the conversation with the audience was so good.
Yeah. So we're gonna have the Estonian premiere. The Estonian premiere is at the festival at the PUFF. So this is your debut film, and before this, you have been as a short filmmaker and also a documentary films. So what made you to inspire this story here, the storyline which you have developed? What is the background of the inspiration for this?
Well, I was born and raised in the Golan Heights. It's a Syrian part that was occupied by Israel during the Six-Day War in '67. And the people that they are living there, they are a small community called Druze. And I'm Druze myself. My parents, they are Druze as well. So I wanted to make something about this area, in context of religion and politics, because since '67 we are under Israeli control, and also the Druze, they have a lot of relatives in Syria. So I wanted to make something, about this place, this particular place, and to talk um, about the relationship between these people and the place that they are living it, and about the regimes that they are related to it as a minorities in the Middle East.
Okay, I would like to pick on an interesting line in the film. I felt when the Selma's son comes and tell a boy baby is going to be born and somebody needs to die in this village. So what is this whole concept of circle of life, and then you start in the film with a reincarnation. How this concept came into the film?
Reincarnation is the main core, belief for the Druze, and they believe that when someone dies, another one must be born. So they don't believe that the body is. They believe that the body is just a medium for the soul, and that's why they, for instance, they don't have graves. They have cemeteries with rooms, and they just, when someone dies, they put the body till its skulls and they throw it because they know that the soul already in another body. So I used this element for the sake of the story, and to tell the story of the two brothers, in a way that can maybe, cinematically be more exciting. Because if I want to talk about Druze as a community, I would, make a documentary, but I decided to make it in a way that it's a drama film.
Okay, and also I could see there are some regional semiotics kind of things in the film where that, especially the goat, is there any connection that you are building, with the goat, and then how the goat is appearing in certain places where it has certain plot points. So why this goat's intervention is there in the film?
Mm. Okay, they don't believe in what you see in this scene, of course. But I used the goats as, I watched, as I said, I'm Syrian myself, but I can't go to Syria. And I watched the Syrian war behind the borders. So I used to see the bombing from my balcony house. And then I saw a lot of harsh and sad, scenes that Assad regime, the dictator Assad regime, made for the Syrians. So I wanted to make an absurd scene in the film, and to make the audience think about the things that happened there, because the character in the film, they don't argue what happened and how this scene happened, and this is, I think, the same thing that's happening in Syria. no one argues what's happening, and it's a fact that the Assad regime is still there, you know.
It's like you're bringing it as a political semiotic also, like,
Exactly.
there, and then the circle of life
Hmm.
also continues with that. And let me just talk about, let's like, talk about of the photography of the film. Like, your images are very well composed images, and also I could see, like, when you're composing the characters, and when it's, especially when it's a group, you're again creating this circle. So did you have, like, when you're working with your DP and your team, like, was there a discussion about, like, how you're going to place uh, characters and the elements in your compositions?
Of course, my DOP is a good friend as well, and he's a good cinematographer. So we discussed all the time what we need to do with camera, you know, when some actor or actress is doing their scene, and we just decided to give the camera, you know, a floating sense in
Mm-hmm.
on the set. And I myself, I love fine art so much, so wanted to combine it with colors and lightning and all the elements that we think that can support, you know, what's happening in each scene.
Right, and also, like, you have dedicated this film to Tariq Kopti. Like, I heard, like, he
Mhm.
passed away the early of this year. Can you please, like, share the memory of him also, like, working with him, and then the process of it, the
Yeah,
actors?
yeah. Unfortunately, Tariq is one of the most, you know, well-known Palestinian Israeli actors. Um, we have met in a short film that I made in 2012, and we became a good friends. And he was so ill when we shoot the film. And I told him, you know, I feel that it's gonna be hard for you because the weather as well, it was so cold and he was so weak. And he told me, no, I think it's gonna be my last film, so I wanna make it, you know. But unfortunately, he didn't see the film,
Okay,
and he died before we finished editing it.
okay.
So yeah, but I hope he could see it from above, you know.
Do you have any plans to, like, screen this film in back in your home, and, like, what would be the reaction and of the people? Um,
um, I don't know really,
mhm.
but I think the community there, they are not so strict. As far as it's not showing, you know, religious men in an unrespectable way. So I think all of the people, they will see it and like it, I think. Except
Yeah,
all the supporters of the dictatorship regimes,
yeah,
you know, because they
yeah.
are all the time and everywhere. Yeah.
Okay, and also, like, I wanted to talk, like, ask you about the process of the film. Like, how much was your pre-production, like, how long you've been writing this film, and what was the production process?
Yeah, it wasn't so long. It was 10 years.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it took me 10 years because of the funding. The film was the most complicated, you know, stage. Because I, you know, you need to do a co-production with Europe,
Yep.
for example, and they do it with your homeland country. I don't have a homeland country.
Yeah.
I don't hold any passport,
Hmm.
so I have an Israeli travel document. So we tried at the first stage to make it with Arab countries that they are funding films, but they said, "Oh, okay, we don't know who are you, so maybe it's a little bit complicated to fund this film." And then we just tried to make a pure European film,
Hmm.
funded film, and it didn't work. And then we came to the Israeli fund, and they gave us part of the money, and we could do it. You know, at the end of the day, yeah. But it took 10 years.
Okay. Like, what about the locations that you have shot? Like, is that the places that actually the story is, like, where you wanted it to take place, or, like, you had to mark for places?
Yeah, yeah, it's in the Golan Heights. It's close to the Golan Heights, but it's the same. But the thing is that the scenes with the border, it was with Lebanon border, not
Right.
Syria, because it's a little bit tricky to film there, and you need a lot of permissions from the Israeli army.
Hmm.
So the places that we chose, it was without permissions. So we sneaked a lot. in sets and filmed it.
Right.
Yeah.
And my last question is like when you were making your documentary, was there an influence or like, you know, did you find different stories through that, like your process of making other films for this film for last 10 years?
My documentary was something else. It was an archival documentary, and it was about Palestinian lives under occupation. But I think it affected me in the way that how to edit, this kind of films, and how to give up a lot of scenes for the sake of the story and how to tell it.
Okay, right. Thank you very much, Ehab.
Thank you.
And wish you all the best for your screenings
Thank
and
you.
then like after the PÖFF for the travel of your film.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
very much.
Thank you.